Hello beautiful people, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluchi Imoh, and on this channel I share cake business tips. I talk about personal development, entrepreneurship. I do story time vlogs, tutorials as well, and you're welcome. In today's video I'll be doing something that is slightly different from what we've always done, and I'll be talking about, and this is frequently asked questions by bakers and for bakers. So I've curated questions that you people, you my beautiful family, have asked me over time on this channel. I wasn't able to get everything, but I've been able to get at least a couple of questions, I think 30 in general, that have been asked on different videos I've posted so far, and I believe that we'll be able to learn from them, because I know that if somebody posts a question here, like on a video, not everybody would get to see it eventually. So I'm sharing and bringing it together. I've curated this content just for you. If this is something you're interested in and you're ready to learn, hear these questions and hear the answers that I have to these questions, then you definitely want to keep on watching, because I'll be right back. And you're welcome back. So I'll be going right ahead into these questions because we have a lot of them, like I said. And if it's something you find interesting, please let me know in the comment section so that I can bring some more questions and provide the answers to these questions to the best of my knowledge and the best of my ability. But before that, I want to announce that the long-awaited Fundament class is here. The long-awaited classes I talked about, although not everything, but some of them are here. So you want to look up my post on the community tab or check my Instagram page, and I'll also do a video maybe later during the week so that you would have all the details and all the information about these classes, or put a link possibly where you can check out this information so you can sign up for these classes. Okay, and if there's anything that you want to learn that was not mentioned or was not covered, you can let me know. Let's see how to work around it. All right, so let's get right into the questions. I'll be looking down where I wrote this question, so please bear with me if you see me looking down. So the first question is this: how do I get to place someone's picture on a cake? And this question was on one of my whipped cream videos. Now, if you want to put a picture on a cake, you just follow the method that I showed you right in the video. Now, there are two ways to this. So if you want to put it as a flat picture on the cake, you are still going to print it on a paper, or use a paper card, print it on an edible paper, edible sheet, or use a paper card, cut it out, follow the same method like I showed you, put it on fondant before putting it on your cake. If you do not do that, it is going to get soaked and it's going to get messy, so don't put it directly. Now, if you want to use it for a topper, just like I explained in the video already, cut it out, place it on fondant, allow it to dry, then attach a skewer behind so that you can stand it on your cake and it will not just shake or fall apart. Or another option is to print the picture on a paper card so that you can stand it on your cake. You can also use a frame method, so you can have the picture cut out and then placed on fondant and then put some gold trimmings around it so that you can have it like a picture frame. I hope that this is clear. So the second question is this: when crumb coating whipped cream cakes, do you use buttercream or whipped cream? So I'm just paraphrasing some of those questions. Now, when you are working with buttercream cake, you know that it's buttercream, and when you're working with whipped cream cakes, you know that it's whipped cream. So for my whipped cream cakes, I use whipped cream to do the crumb coating, just like you've seen in the video. I believe you must have seen the video. If you have not checked my whipped cream decorating video, so you crumb coat with whipped cream and then cover with whipped cream. I just feel to be out of place, and these mediums are different. You know, these decorating mediums are different. So if you use buttercream to crumb coat and then try to put whipped cream, I do not know and cannot guarantee the result at the end of the day. So whipped cream is to whipped cream, while buttercream is to buttercream. I hope this is clear. So the third question is this: is there a possibility of substituting butter with margarine in Italian or Swiss meringue buttercream? Did you ever try it? Please let me know how possible. Now, the answer to this question is yes, it is possible, and yes, I have done it before. Now, I don't work with Italian meringue buttercream. I work with Swiss meringue buttercream on some occasions, and I have tried using margarine before. In fact, the first time I learned, not using it for myself, but the first time I learned how to make SMBC, let me just say SMBC for sure. The first time I learned how to make SMBC, my teacher taught me how to use the margarine method and the butter method. The difference is in the texture. They will both be silky, but the major difference is in the taste and also the texture, I believe. The quality you get when you use these two different ingredients are not the same. So you want to stick with buttercream for better results if you're making SMBC. The fifth question, when I work with white fondant, I have the butter staining through it. I thought butter was much, so I reduced it. The next time I made a fondant cake, I still had the same problem. Can you help me out what the problem might be? From the question that this person has asked, this sounds like a challenge or a problem of the fondant being so thin. You know, I explained this. So if you are you're covering your cake or decorating with fondant and it is thin, the things that would happen include the following. The finishing of your cake will not be nice. To have a flabby look. It will not be sharp, it will not be straight, it will have a flabby look. The second thing is that your joinings would be, the layers, different layers, where the layers meet, you'll be seeing the lines through your fondant, especially if you do not use the buttercream compote before you go ahead to cover in fondant. You'll be seeing those lines, and those lines can be annoying, so you don't want that. That's why it's encouraged that you use thick fondant to some extent. I shared that in my wedding cake tips from a pro, and I also shared it in my video about fondant mistakes you're making or you should avoid making. So don't cover light, and then tone down your buttercream. But this person said he or she reduced the buttercream and then before covering for a second time when the person was trying to troubleshoot, but it was still the same thing. So you want to reduce the quantity of the buttercream first, and then also, you know, roll your fondant thick to some extent so that the buttercream doesn't show through. It must be very thin for the buttercream to be showing through. And then when you wrap it thick, you can smoothen very well without being afraid of anything happening, without being afraid of the fondant tearing apart or anything. I hope that this is clear. Number 6, are those the fruits that you also use in wedding cakes? This question is from I hope I can remember the title of these videos. It's from my fruitcake videos. I made that video in December when we were prepping for Christmas cakes, prepping to make Christmas fruit cakes, and I told you what you should do before soaking your fruits. If you've not seen that video, this is a call for you to check that video. So yes, the answer to that question is yes. Those are the fruits I use, and you can even use more. It depends on you. It depends on what you want. It depends on what you can afford. It depends on what your customers can and are willing to pay for. So yes, those are the fruits that I use: almond, dried cherries, red cherries. What else? Raisins. Almond, have I mentioned almond? Cashew nuts. What else? Just check out that video. All right, you'll see the fruits that I use. Number 7, can you do a video on how to price cakes? By God's grace, I'm going to be doing that this week, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Number 8, please, what's the difference between American Swiss? I believe that's what the person meant to type because I could not make out what she typed. So what's the difference between American Swiss and modern buttercream? So American buttercream is the normal buttercream that we all start up with, or that we all know. That's just the basic, the margarine or butter to icing sugar ingredients with your flavor and your water and your milk. That is the American buttercream recipe. And then for the Swiss Meran buttercream, it is slightly different. No, it's not slightly different, it's totally different in preparation, in the ingredients, in the quality, in the texture, in the taste. They are two different things. I hope that I can make a video to let you know, hopefully to show the difference between these two types of buttercream. And then for Swiss meringue, you use shortening. Some people use icing sugar, egg whites, what else? Sugar as well, and flavor. And also your butter. That's one important ingredient I must not fail to mention. Then for modern buttercream, I do not know what the person was referring to, but I feel it's the buttercream. I'll just put it as a buttercream that we have now that have been modified. In Nigeria, we refer to, some people say modified buttercream. I really do not know what that means, but I know that these days people have evolved and then come up with their own different recipes that have been tweaked, recipes that have been what's the word? It's not composed. What's that word again? I can't remember. If I remember the word, I'm going to put it on the screen. But people have been able to come up with their own recipes that they've tweaked to suit the weather, to suit their case and things like that. So this is the difference that I know between the three of these 3 buttercreams that I've listed. Number 10 is, what brand of shortening did you use in SMBC? I cannot remember the brand, but I guess it's Nutrichem. The person asked in a particular video where I covered the cake with SMBC. I think it was Nutrichem, but I don't know for sure. Number 10. I hope I've not missed the number. Number 10. Can I use card prints on whipped cream cakes? B. To get the images, what do I do, please? Yes, you can use card prints on whipped cream cakes. You follow the same method. Put it on fondant before you put it on your cake, especially if you're putting it on the body of the cake. And then for the pictures, you get them online. You search online and you can get the pictures that you want to use. Ensure that you're using the right keywords so that you can get the right pictures that you want. Beware of copyright. Number 12, when sticking on a buttercream cake. Number 11, I missed my numbering here. Number 11, when sticking on a buttercream cake, do I need to apply it on fondant too or stick it directly? Whenever you're working, this is another person asking, whenever you're working with edible prints or paper prints, always put it on fondant first before you stick it on your cake to have a neat finish and to avoid stains on your picture or your prints. Number 13, number 12, do you do IMBC? No, I do not do IMBC. IMBC is Italian meringue buttercream. No, I don't do that. Number 13, you said you wanted to put the cake in the freezer. This is the question from my whipped cream cake decorating video. You said you wanted to put the cake in the freezer before the client comes to pick up. Once it starts sweating some minutes after it's brought out, and I can't remember exactly what I answered, but the answer to this question is this: I did not put it in the freezer for so long in a way that it would start sweating or condensation will set in once it comes out from the freezer. I just put it to chill. The weather was very hot that day, and so I couldn't afford to leave it outside for any reason, maybe experimenting or just wanted to see what would happen or just leaving it out there. I put it in the freezer. So I put it in the freezer to preserve it so that it will still stay firm, to be chilled when the client comes to pick up. So I didn't put it for hours on end that will now get frozen, and when it comes out, condensation would set in. Number 14, does buttercream filling give the fruit cake the long shelf life? How long will the cake last with buttercream? Because buttercream does. Oh, how long will the cake last with buttercream? This was a question that was one of my subscribers asked on my, I think, wedding cake tips from a pro. So I use buttercream in between my fruit cake. If you watched that video, you know I stated it there. So I would say that the shelf life of your cake is not particularly dependent on the type of buttercream you use. Yes, your buttercream, the ingredients in your buttercream can affect the shelf life of your cakes, especially if you use the milk. But this is not the primary reason why your shelf life or the shelf life of your cake or your fruit cake will be reduced. If you don't have the right recipe, you don't bake right, maybe the cake is not well baked, then you know that your fruit cake is not going to last. If you don't take care of it or preserve it the way you're supposed to preserve it before you use it or decorate it for the wedding or for the occasion, know that your buttercream is not going to last. So the B part is, how long will the cake last with buttercream? I sincerely cannot tell because I've not put it outside for long to experiment with it. I know I've had my fruit cake out for 3 weeks. Yeah, I had it right here for 3 weeks. I just threw the last bit away yesterday, 2 days or yesterday. So I've had a fruit cake out of the fridge for 3 weeks. Let me not be mistaken. May 11th to let's just assume it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday morning. It's how many days, how many weeks calculated, and it was still okay. It was still fine. So it's not the buttercream. If you do not have the perfect recipe, it's not gonna last. But for best results, please tell your customers to put that the best way to preserve cakes is to put it in the freezer, wrap it in a foil, and then wrap it in a cling film if you want, and then freeze it. When you're ready to eat or you feel like eating, thaw it before you eat. All right. And my rich fruit cake is one of the recipes I'll be teaching. I wanted to do an actual wedding cake class, but for some reasons beyond my control, I could not pull that off. I could not really bring that to reality. I could not make it happen. So I'm just going to be teaching you how to bake my rich fruit cakes. If you're interested in the class, then you want to sign up. Number 15, I started my YouTube channel December 2020, but I uploaded an unlisted video, and now 5 months later I want to start uploading public videos. when does my 1 year start counting? I mean my watch time hours from when I opened the channel or from when I started uploading public videos. Based on my knowledge, I would say from when you start uploading public videos, because your YouTube watch hours starts, they explicitly put it there. So you need, for you to be monetized on YouTube or for it to start counting, you need to have let me not mix this up. So it starts counting when you upload public videos. So if you are looking to be monetized on YouTube and to be eligible for monetization, then you need to have up to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours. Not just 4,000 hours, 4,000 public watch hours. Means your video should not be private, means your video should not be unlisted, or they should all be public. People should be able to see and view them. So that's when it starts counting, I believe, when you start uploading videos that are public. Number 16, what type of paper printing for non-edible can we use? Please reply to be helpful. Unfortunately, I could not get the answer to this question. I tried contacting the people that print my prints, that make my prints for me, that print my pictures, my toppers for me, but the person could not give me the answer that I needed. So I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to this question. Number 17, I have some same issue with shrinking. I don't know what the cause is or what to do. This question was from my 10 baking mistakes to avoid. No, my Instagram content story, my Instagram post ideas videos. I can't remember the title exactly. So I shared a story about sharing my wins, about how my cakes used to shrink back then and how I was able to figure out what the issue was and how I was able to fix it. So if your cakes are shrinking, you want to check and be sure that you are not over mixing. In my case, I was over mixing, and that's why when I bake the cake, the vanilla cake recipe I have is quite delicate. So if you over mix it, you're going to run into troubles with it. So I was able to fix it by not over mixing. I wasn't over mixing anymore, especially when I begin to add my flour. I reduced the speed of my mixer. So you want to bear this in mind. Do not over mix, and then your oven temperature should be right. If it's not right, it might not bake well and it might affect it. So the heat might not circulate. So one of these two things, you need to check them and also put them under control or try to fix them, whatever the issue might be. Number 18, how can I use lemon to soak my fruits when client says she doesn't want brandy? Also need help on stacking. For lemon, I cannot authoritatively give you an answer, but I know that you can squeeze out the juice, or how it's done is that you squeeze out the juice and use the juice of the lemon juice instead to soak your fruits instead of using brandy. I hope this is fine. For stacking, I wanted to include it among the classes that I'll be doing, but I do not know yet. I was supposed to do it as a video, but bear with me, I'm still growing for now. I cannot afford to just bring cakes, 3-tier or 2-tier cake just for a YouTube video, because at the end of the day, I might not be able to, I don't know how to best explain it, but I believe that you understand. Very soon, by God's grace, I should be able to get to that stage. But for now, I wanted to include it in the classes, but I think I did not finally include it. But if you would be interested in it, I don't mind going the lengths to get that done as well. It means I have to bake proper cakes, actual cakes, to show you how to dowel your cakes properly. So let me know in the comments if you're interested, and I will include it in the classes. Number 19, hello Oluchi. As a person just starting up a cake business, how do I keep up on Instagram since I don't have much work that I have done and many clients yet? You need to do things for yourself. All right. So if you've watched my Instagram post ideas or Instagram calendar, yes, that's the name, Instagram calendar for bakers, you would see where I told you what you can post on Mondays, Tuesdays, all the way through Friday. And they are not all cake posts. You can get quotes. You can make posts on quotes on Canva. You can make, where did that come from? You can make quotes on Canva. Use Canva, the Canva app. I believe you know how to use that app. If you don't know how to use it, let me know so I can make a video on that. It's not a big deal. At least the basics, you need to know that. You can make quotes that you can post, and then do things for yourself. You can bake for yourself, and then create content from just one. So if I might decide I want to bake a red velvet cake today, I would show you the behind the scenes. I can create a post showing you the behind the scenes, showing you how to bake the cake actually, if it's something you want to share, showing you how to decorate, take pictures with cake, you can make videos, you can do pictorials, tutorials, a lot of things you can do. Learn to create multiple content from just one primary content. This will help you because you need to put out things for people to relate and associate with you, know your brand. So that's what you do. From the little you have from clients, create multiple content from it, create multiple content from it, and then also make things for yourself once in a while. You can just do a video on how to make cupcakes or how to make melted chocolate and then put it out there. You also, aside from selling, need to be sharing knowledge with the world and adding value to people. So consider these things, and as you do this, the more you do it, the more your brand gets in front of people and the more visible you become and the more customers you get at the end of the day. Okay, number 20, and I think we'll be stopping here because this video is going to get so long if I don't stop here. I think I'm going to make a second part of this video. Just let me know if it's something you would want. The person says, how do I stack a 6-inch dummy cake with a real cake? Now, a 6-inch dummy cake implies that the base is going to be a real cake, right? So you're just going to follow the real method. And since it's a 6-inch cake, I would assume that it doesn't have much weight, except you're using a wooden dummy. But there are wooden dummies and then there are styrofoam dummies. If you're using a wooden dummy, I doubt that you'll be able to pass a dowel rod through it. Or a central dowel through it. But if you're using a styrofoam dummy, you should be able to do that. So drill a hole in the middle. Do it, just follow the same method as if you were decorating a real cake, because by the time you wrap your dummy in fondant, whether wooden or styrofoam, it's going to get some weight, and you don't want that weight to affect the cake on the base. So just treat it the same way that you're going to treat a real cake. So these are 20 questions I believe that I've answered so far. I still have some more, but this video is going to be so long, like I said, if I finish it. Or do we just go ahead? Let's see. Let's just go ahead. 21. Hello, Portia. Faithful follower since my first video. That's what I wrote because she said she's been a faithful follower since my first video ever. Thank you, Portia. Hello. How do I achieve central dowelling? Now, central dowelling can be achieved by you passing a dowel, which I refer to as the central dowel, is a PVC pipe which has been washed, sterilized, and made food safe. I beg your pardon, food safe. You put it in the middle of your cake, and then before you place your cake. If you're not watching my wedding cake setup video, please watch that video. You're going to see how I set up my wedding cake, and you're going to see what I'm referring to as the central dowel. You have to check all the way back. I uploaded that video sometime in August, September, I'm not too sure, but wedding cake setup, or you can just search on YouTube Oluchi Imoh wedding cake setup and it will pop out. All right, so number 22, recipe for chocolate drip. I do not have a special recipe for chocolate drip. I just cut my chocolate up, use the double boiler method, and then allow it melt. Nowadays, formerly I used to add hot water to it to thin it down, but nowadays, because of the quality of the chocolates that changed recently, I do not even have to do that. I just have to put it in my plate, a bowl, do the double boiler method, and it will melt by itself, and it's ready for use. Number 23, for whipped cream cake, is it compulsory to put the stainless bowl in the freezer? What if I don't have fridge or freezer? Can I use other bowl aside stainless? Yes, for my recipe, if you're talking about my recipe, it's compulsory that you put the bowl in the freezer. I have seen recipes, yes, where you don't need to chill your bowl, where you don't need to use a stainless bowl even, but I cannot authoritatively say what result you will get at the end of the day. Okay, so you need to chill the bowl, and I don't know if other bowls aside the stainless bowl will work. Number 24, I'm interested in knowing how to stack a tiered cake in detail. I've already touched this question. Please let me know if you're interested in the video. I know a lot of people are interested, but let's see how to work around it. I want to know how many people are interested in the stacking video, and let's see what can be done. Number 25, where can I order a long trimming knife? In a cake shop. You can get it from a cake shop. I got mine from an exhibition from a cake vendor. So you can just check a cake shop, but ensure that, or make sure you're getting one that is sturdy and not flexible, that will not bend. I'm just going to switch to my numbering. Number 27, can I stack a whipped cream wedding cake? It's possible, but you have to know the ropes and you have to be a pro at this. But I would even ask, why whipped cream cake for a wedding? Because you're going to set up this cake, and then you cannot you do not have control over the temperature of the place where it's going to be set up. You don't want something that would melt. You don't want something that will melt or run at the end of the day or just before it's ready to be cut. So please, you can advise them well, or just walk around it. Maybe the cake will not be set up when it is ready. I do not know, but I don't see this as being something that is very, very convenient to do. So you can advise them to go for maybe buttercream or fondant. Number 28. What if I use royal icing crumb coat before covering with fondant? I don't know about this because royal icing sets real hard within a couple of minutes, and you need to be very fast if you're going to be using royal icing. I don't know how good this is and how effective it is in using to crumb coat your cakes before covering with royal icing. So I believe that buttercream is a better option. Number 29. What type of dowel sticks are better for wedding cakes, wooden or the type that looks like PVC pipe? If you're referring to the plastic dowels, I would say that is better because it has more weight and can withstand the weight of other cakes to some extent. So if you have bigger straws that you can use, that is fine, fantastic. Formerly I used to use dowel sticks, and it's not bad using dowel sticks, but I feel that these rods are better in terms of stability and weight for wedding cakes that go up to like 3-4 tiers. Okay, and then the final question, please tips on achieving a perfect red velvet ma. To achieve a perfect red velvet cake, your oven temperature should be right. It should not be high. If it's high, there's a tendency that it will turn brown underneath. Mix your ensure that you have a good recipe as well. Do the mixing well, mix properly. Don't use too much of cocoa powder. Do not use too much of cocoa powder. What else? Use a very good brand of red food coloring. If it's not enough, your cakes will be brown and red. So have patches of brown and red. So these are the things that I think you should bear in mind. All right. I wanted to teach red velvet recipe as well. I cannot do obviously all these things at the same time so that I don't get choked, but please let me know in subsequent classes or the one for next month. I can plan ahead for it. So these are the questions I've been treating so far. I believe I was able to touch 30 questions. My numbering was off at a point, but I believe 29 or 30 questions. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have more questions that you'd like me to treat and you enjoyed this video, please drop them in the comments and let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. And in doing so, you help other people who need this knowledge get to see this channel and watch these videos as well. Thank you so much. Until I see you in the next video, stay happy, stay safe, and stay blessed.